Hello everyone, welcome to Atta. Today I would like to take you on a personal tour of my current exhibition at the gallery at the moment. The exhibition is called What Is It? I Like It. And it's part of this series called Curator Conversation, which is an exhibition series that I wanted to engage collectors of all types of art, including contemporary jewelry art, to talk to a curator from an outside world who's not relating to what we do, and try to create conversation that other people could relate to. In this particular instance, I invited Chalisa Weerawan to be my co-curator. She's a spiritual wellness consultant. So, she helped me direct this exhibition through the questions of what kind of energy am I talking about and am I trying to engage with when I wear certain pieces of jewelry. So we'll take a look inside. But keep in mind that this exhibition is about jewelry, curiosity, recognition, and connection. So come on in. This is the first landing for this exhibition. Again, the title, I Like It, What Is It? And the first piece on this table. It's a very small piece right smack in the center. If you come closer and take a look, you can see that it's maybe me. It's a profile of myself created by Tori Svensson. So, when I wear this piece, people often think like, is that you? Is that someone else? So, it sparks some kind of curiosity. And that's why I decided to put it here, because I'm talking about my personal collection, my personal engagement in art, my ways of seeing the world and creating meaning. So it's a personal story. So let's go in. Oh, by the way, this is the text that the curator wrote about how jewelry and how my collection could be shared to other psychic terrains as how we engage with art and how we engage with contemporary jewelry in this particular instance. So before we enter the room, we encounter this piece by Lisa Walker. I decided to put this piece here because it's made of paintings, and sometimes people think, oh, paintings, that's obviously fine art. But when paintings became material for a wearable piece of art, would people still consider this, a piece of fine art? So I wanted to pose that kind of question. And if people are curious enough, they peek themselves through and see themselves wearing the necklace on the mirror. So it creates some invitation to try something on. So let's go inside my psych. Woohoo! So in this room, you will see that there are two parts of the room. The first part is the jewelry displayed on the mannequin type, on clothing, hangers, stationed in the center of the exhibition, and also some works on the walls. So these pieces are the pieces I remember vividly, the interactions that I had with certain people. Like this particular necklace by David Bielander, the Frankfurter. I wore it out one night to a jazz bar after work. So I was tired, I just wanted to sit down, listen to the music, and chit-chat with my friends. And came this waitress who was kind of whispering with her peer before approaching our table. And she talked to me in a whisper but firm voice, like, excuse me, ma'am, you're not allowed to bring food from the outside into our space. So that kind of created this instant connection. Even though I didn't say much to her afterwards, it created this memorable experience. And I love it when contemporary jewelry creates this kind of special memories. Next one here, we see a piece by Dorothea Prull. I was wearing this while working at the gallery, and a couple of Japanese artists came in to say hello. And as we were chatting, they were eyeing my necklace. And they were, was like, oh, I really like it. What is it? Can you tell me more about the necklace you're wearing? So I told them that it's made of wood, and the name of the necklace is called Fish. And they were like, oh, they don't look like fish to them, but they look like bonito, which is dry fish sticks that Japanese people use to create flakes for boiling soups, like stocks. So when I did a Google search on bonito, it looked exactly like that. So, I'm learning something from the interaction that I had with all these people as well. Next one. This is a piece by Benedict Hayner. He just received an HAF award just 2 weeks ago. I got this piece and I wore this to an event at a Thai Contemporary Art Center, a Bangkok Contemporary Art Center for an event. And someone came up to me and was like, oh, is that real? And she was like reaching out to touch my necklace and say, I can feel my mouth watering now. And that's exactly how I felt when I first saw this piece in Munich before I got it. That's how I felt, like my mouth watering. And it's just so vivid, the image and the feeling, that it was surprising to me that people also feel the same way to the piece when they see me wear it. And that's why the exhibition is called I Like It. What is it? Because it's actually the core theme of how I collect. So if you read this text, it will explain a little bit more. While we were curating this exhibition, we were trying to figure out what are the common threads between my decisions to get all these pieces into my collection. And I was trying to think, is it like a certain emotions, happiness, nostalgia, sadness, angst, or whatever? But at the end of the day, what I found is that for all these pieces that I collected, it sparks with the curiosity. The first moment is like, I like it. That's the first thing. I have to like it first. I like it, but then what is it? The curiosity brought me closer to the pieces. And that's exactly how other people see these pieces on me as well. They would approach me thinking, oh, what is it? I like it. What are you having on? So that's the kind of interesting fact that what I see interesting could interest other people as well. And if they are daring enough to come closer to me, to come see my pieces, to come talk to me, or see myself as who I am, then some kind of connections could be created. And that's the majority of the pieces that I'm showing here in this particular room. These pieces talk about joy, happiness, invitation, inclusive, intimacy, and whatnot, as you can take a look around. But when we enter the second room in the back, if you think of like smiley faces for this room, you would be thinking of a frowning face or more like a questioning kind of faces. Like this one, smiley face by Alexander Blanc. Obviously it's smiling, but if you see the texture, it looks like it's been crushed. It's been through many things before the smile could stay on. So it questions, is what we see really what we see or what we think we see? So this room is about that. It's about asking questions. It's about questioning things. It's about creating conflicts. This one by David Bielander, it's one of the very first pieces I bought, actually. It's a slab. But when I wore this one to have dinner with my childhood friends, a bunch of them, and this one guy came up to me and was like, oh, can you please take it off? I can't eat my dinner. It looks disgusting. And it was kind of funny to me, but at the same time, I was like, am I creating a discomfort for him? But in a way, I enjoy creating that kind of discomfort. So maybe it's my own psyche of trying to challenge people's opinion. And the fact that he thinks that this is disgusting and I decided to wear it, does it mean I'm disgusting as well? Who knows, right? Next one here is Lucky Dick by Helen Britton. I got this a while back and I wore it to an exhibition in Norway. I went to this, actually it was an exhibition, a personal collection of Jorunn Wiberg in Norway. And I didn't think much of it. I thought, she's a female collector, I'm a female collector. It would be funny to kind of like wearing a golden penis on me to go to the exhibition. But not knowing much about Norwegian culture, like the modesty and whatnot. So people looking around at the exhibition, they tried to avoid my gaze, avoid having eye contact with me, but at the same time, they would be eyeing my golden dick. And, this kind of discomfort, the gap, I kind of want to ask you something, but I don't want to ask you anything, feeling, it kind of posed a certain question and say, okay, am I wearing jewelry to push people away? Or am I wearing jewelry to filter people? You know, if you dare enough to come talk to me, then you go through my filter. I don't know. That's something that I didn't realize until we set up this exhibition. The curator and I started talking about energy, what kind of energy we send out and what kind of energy we wanted to receive. So this was one of the pieces that kind of like brought back that kind of memory also. The last piece here might be not contemporary jewelry per se, but it's a pendant of an evil eye that I've been wearing every day for the past 10 years. I didn't know much about evil eye, but all I know is that it reflects all these bad things that people were talking about you, and people are judging you, people are gossiping about you. And because I'm such a strong-minded and outspoken person, I think, you know, there might be a lot of people talking behind my back, so I thought, you know, to protect myself, I put this one on and put on a brave face, but at the end of the day, I'm still afraid that people are saying bad things about me, or, you know, afraid that something bad's gonna happen to me. So again, it shows my inner fear, inner energy, and for me to take this pendant off and put it up for 2 months for the exhibition, I felt naked in a way, and I had to find another evil eye to put on. This one is not as good as that one, but you know, it's to protect myself during this time. And all the jewelry that you see in this room also reflects that kind of paradoxical issues, you know, questions, angst maybe, the unsure. And yeah, these are very interesting pieces, and a lot of people came in and was like, wait, is it what I think it is? You know, it creates this kind of tension, but at the same time, it invites certain kind of intimacy, which is very interesting to me. And before we move on to the next part of the exhibition, we have this piece that if you look at it, it's very in your face. But to me, this piece has so many layers, cultural layers. And if you have not lived through certain kind of culture and countries, you might not read this piece the same as I do. And at the end of the day, reading or understanding a piece of contemporary art, including contemporary jewelry, is personal. You know, you create your own meanings, you create your own connections with the pieces. Like this one, I like it because the artist created it with a gas pump hub of a car, you know, and in the front you see a heart pumping love with this particular organ, and the love came out in a source of a pearl necklace, which has a different connotation in American culture also. So to me, like, this is a very fun piece and a very complete piece to include in my collection. And a lot of people actually like to come to this piece and find out, you know, the hidden meanings of it too. So now we're going to go to the second part of the exhibition, going through this transformative piece by Aya Ito. So in this room, you see walls full of jewelry. And this is more or less a timeline of what I've been buying, what I've been including into what is now called my collection. We also have a text over here written by the curator, and she wanted to showcase that through our lifetimes, we go through different phases in life. Certain things we loved in the past, we might fall out of love with it now, or you know, some things might be reoccurring in our lifetime. And by collecting something, you're trying to show the transition, the journey of how you've gone through life through particular objects, in this case, contemporary jewelry. So we are also inviting other people to look at their contemporary jewelry in relation to their lived experiences as well. So here you see, starting from 1974, that's an image of me wearing golden bracelets. I didn't want to bring the bracelets here because gold is very expensive now, so just the photo. And these are pieces that I've been collecting or buying, keeping, whatever you call it, since I was before 10. So these little toys that I got through my visit to Japan or, like local stores. This particular piece here, I got back in the 91 for like a dollar. Well, no, for 50 cents. And, I just found something in Munich that's reminded me of this, and I bought a brooch because it's reminded me of this piece as well. And you can see, like Mickey Mouse and everything through my visits to Disney World when I was young. When I was in my teenager years, I learned that turquoise is my birthstone in December. So I decided to collect turquoise jewelry. So turquoise jewelry and then Native American jewelry became a part of it. So as you can see, these are all different animals. Oh, I still remember buying that from JJ Market with my mom. So over here, that's in my late teens, early 20s. I was living in the US. I started collecting Native American necklaces because there's an outpost near where I went to school. And every time when I drove to the airport, I would pass this outpost and I would have to stop and search for different things that I could include in my collection. So then I moved to Miami, to study marine science. And that's when I got interested in all these, fish and shells and natural materials and whatnot. And that's where I learned how to make jewelry. And slowly, I learned to appreciate studio jewelry. This is the first piece of studio jewelry I bought by an American artist, Gabriel Good. And, from then on, I started searching for different types of jewelry here and there through my travel. And you can see that the pieces started to change from something that I could wear easily, like necklaces, earrings, to something that's more sculptural, like brooches. As you can see here, there are more, the concentration of brooches here. Because I started to view jewelry differently also. I started to think that jewelry doesn't have to be easily worn or, wearable every day. And in my mid-30s to my 50s, my late 40s, early 50s, I started to collect more, buying more, supporting artists of different genre, established artists, young artists. I don't limit myself to anything, but the core attraction is that same question. I like it. What is it? That's the main draw. And you can see that, I'm concentrating on the materiality of art. Certain materials, certain kind of execution attracted me to these pieces. And that's why I happily have them in my collection. And if you can see that later on in the 2026 now, my collection, even though the span of the collection is about the same, the frequency of my purchase has been reduced. That's because my storage space is limited. I can't wear all this jewelry. I don't want to keep them in my drawers. I want to wear them. But if I don't get to wear them enough, I don't want to keep them. So I have to be a bit more strategic about what I collect and why I wanted to, spend money on supporting certain artists and certain practices. And because of this, I see this as a journey of a collector's life. Collecting is not activity that you're aiming to create or to reach a goal, but it's a journey that's important. So I wanted people to start looking at collecting as a journey. Where are you in this journey? You might be starting off. You might be towards the end of your collecting journey because, I don't know, you're older, you can't spend money anymore, whatever reasons. But I want you to look at collecting more as a journey and encourage other people to look at buying jewelry as a journey as well. Nothing is complete. There's no ending, but there has to be a start somewhere. And a start doesn't have to be a decisive decision, oh yeah, I want to be a collector. No, it started from the fact that you like engaging with certain kind of pieces, you like wearing certain kind of pieces. And that's how I got started. I invite other people to look at engaging with jewelry, engaging with contemporary art as a journey. Look at where you are along the spectrum of the journey. Don't worry about the end, just concentrating on the now, what makes you happy, right? I'm quite surprised to hear that, when people come and see this exhibition, they made a comment and was like, oh wow, you're so generous to bring all these pieces for us to see, or do you feel bare now that you're bearing your soul for people to see who you really are? But for me, this is me, I haven't been hiding myself. I'm hiding myself behind my jewelry, yes. And by bringing the jewelry out, I want people to see who I am through the kind of jewelry that I've been buying, that I've been wearing. And I think that's quite fun. And if people think this is generous, then I'm happy to be generous. And I think people should do something like this more and more to expose different experiences, expose different types of art, and different ways to enjoy oneself. So besides jewelry that I show, I also have all these books of personal collections of great collectors who came before me for people to flip through, for people to read and get inspired. At the same time, I also have books on young collectors. Again, stressing the fact that collecting is a journey. We don't want to be talking just about the end result, but we wanted to talk about what comes in between. And the sheets that you see here, these are posters that we did back in 2016, 10 years ago. We talked to local collectors and what they've been buying at that point in time. Smaller pieces here and there, but it's a snapshot of what they collected at that point in time. And I actually have one of my collection at that point also. Some of the pieces you still hear on the board here, but we did that in 2016, I believe. And on here it said, what do you see yourself doing with your collection in 5 years? I said it would be nice to exhibit the jewelry, my collection, for other people to see. And here we are now, 10 years after that. I accomplished my dream back then. So yeah, take a look around. We have many different types of jewelry, but I think my main core is the materiality of art, and the fact that curiosity, like this particular one by Rudy Tancharan, you look at it, you don't know what it is, you come closer and you see there's a little skull, and it's so precious, like all these hidden things. But yeah, and I hope to be able to do something like this again in the future. I don't know in what capacity, but I want to expose people to different types of contemporary jewelry, to different perspective of how they can live with art. And I think sharing is the best thing to do. I hope you enjoy my tour. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me on my Instagram or to Atta on our Instagram. Thank you.